Welcome back. Last time we discussed sacred astronomy, and now we want to briefly discuss why the Muslims were so interested in the classifications of knowledge, expanding upon the quadrivium and the cosmology that provides the matrix within which all the other Islamic sciences develop. Now, in the Islamic world, the Muslims took the quadrivium and other divisions of sciences and integrated them into the Islamic perspective, which also dealt with divine law, the question of revealed knowledge, and so forth. And they created their own classification of the sciences, which was a very, very important exercise in Islamic science. Today, we do not have either an organic or a geometric intelligible relationship between various modes of knowing, between various sciences. And most universities do not teach us that. The best we can do is to use our minds as drawers. We pull one drawer out and put anthropology in it, and we close the drawer. And then we go to the next class, the history of England in the 18th century. We pull open another drawer and put that knowledge back in there. And then, of course, in chemistry, we have another drawer, and so on. The overwhelming majority of students have undergone this experience. And those of you who think a little bit say, my God, how are all these things related? They aren't. It's a very unfortunate thing for both the individual and a civilization. Alfred North Whitehead, the great British philosopher who came to Harvard, perhaps the greatest Anglo-Saxon philosopher of the 20th century, said that this total separation of the various disciplines, sciences including humanities and sciences in general, from each other is like sclerosis at old age, which leads to death finally. And our civilization cannot afford that. We have to be able to thin the walls and not thicken the walls, because to thicken them will finally lead to the death of the organism as a whole. Now, Islamic civilization, being based on unity, was very much aware of this. So it took this Pythagorean division and others, such as the theoretical, practical, and productive sciences, which Aristotle divided sciences into, and integrated them into an Islamic view of the classification of the sciences. I just want to point to the significance of this intellectual endeavor here, because Muslims thought that since God was one, knowledge had to be interrelated. They always spoke of the tree of knowledge. Somehow there had to be interrelation between various sciences, various ways of knowing. And so when they confronted the great heritage of Greek science, Alexandrian science, and to a lesser extent Persian and Indian science, they studied those and tried to integrate them into this total structure, making them a branch of this tree. And the success of Islam as a civilization in the intellectual field was precisely the fact that they could do it. The Muslims expanded this quadrivium to other disciplines, such as algebra and others that the Greeks did not have, which we'll discuss in a later segment. Now, the Quran states that we shall show them our signs upon the horizons. That's the macrocosm, the big world out there, and within themselves, the microcosm, a little cosmos, which means us, till it becomes clear to them that this is the truth. And the metacosm is that which is beyond the world, beyond the cosmos, with meta meaning above. The metacosm is God, ultimate reality, who generates the whole of the cosmos, as well as a recapitulation of the whole of the cosmos in a single being, the human state, who's therefore the microcosm. For example, you could say that New York City is a microcosm of the United States. Now, we can illustrate all this with a point, the metacosm generating the two sides of a triangle, with the macrocosm on one side and the microcosm on the other, as you see in the figure here. Recall that Al-Quran al-Takwini, or the cosmic Quran, is the counterpart of Al-Quran al-Tadwini, the written Quran. From this point of view, the cosmos itself is a primal revelation, a cosmic text, and it's only by virtue of the written Quran that we can read the cosmic text. Otherwise, no revelation would be necessary. Humanity has lost the gift of being able to read the signs of God upon the cosmos. Adam probably could do it. In paradise, certainly, you could read the signs of God everywhere. That's what paradise means, to see God everywhere. Everything in paradise, from the food to the trees, everything reflects the divine reality. And Adam had that knowledge when God taught him the names of all things when he created him. But the fall of Adam marks the need for revelation. That's why he was the first prophet. And God revealed to him, as the first prophet, this knowledge again of being able to read the cosmic book. But we can't do it any longer, and therefore the need for revelation in the sense that we ordinarily use, that is, the Quran or other sacred texts that God sends as a guide. Once that is received, by virtue of accepting it, one gains the possibility of knowledge, of being able to read the cosmic book. The idea of reading the cosmic book is a very, very important idea, which you also had in other religious traditions throughout history, including Judaism and Christianity. That concludes our discussion of the importance of the classification of knowledge in Islam, as well as the relation between the Metacosm, Macrocosm, and Microcosm. And next we'll turn to the implications of this, and the role symbolism plays as the language of both religion and science.